Introducing Mike Tyson. I want a good, clean, hard fight.
8 months into Mike Tyson's professional career, and he'd knocked out 9 opponents with the kind of ease that had not been seen for a long time. The 19-year-old prodigy was being closely watched. Outside of the ring, the likes of Don King were seeing the dollar signs. Inside the ring, the oblivious youngster was being celebrated 1 minute for his phenomenal punch and questioned the next for not going the full distance. Tyson's 10th fight was against Big Bob Calais.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 8 rounds, and it's in a heavyweight division. In the ring at this time, the man in charge of the scheduled 8-round heavyweight bout, referee Teddy Pick. And now, boxing fans, introducing the principals. First, in the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with the blue trim. He tipped in at 224 1/4 pounds. This gentleman hails from the boxing capital of the world of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome aboard Big Bob Calais. And his opponent in the red corner, wearing the blue trunks with the white and red trim. He weighed in at an even 217 pounds. This young man hails from Catskill, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Mike Tyson.
Mike, Bobby, you got your instructions in the dressing room. I want you to obey my rules, my commands at all times. Is that understood? Shake hands, give me a clean fight.
Referee Ted Pick sending both boys back to their corners. A good clean fight, that is what we hope to see. Mike Tyson, undefeated in his 10th professional fight against Robert Calais, coming off a win in his last fight. Already we can see Tyson giving away height this time. We've seen him give away weight before. This time he gives away height. He's giving away weight as well, about 7 pounds to Calais. Tyson 5'10", Calais, well, a good 6'3". Left hook, good night. What a great shot. There's a mandatory 8. They keep wheeling him out. He keeps knocking him over. Well, that has got to be one of the quickest. Tyson, a little, well, almost apologetic tap on Calais's chest. Thank you very much. That's all she wrote. And this man, well, okay, look at the stats. 10 fights, 10 wins, 7 inside the first round. And this is how he did it. Measured him up. Missed with that, not with that. And really, Calais was out, as the old story goes, before he hits the canvas. Tyson, impassive. Kevin Rooney cutting the gloves off. Is it getting a bit too easy for Mike Tyson? Well, you do start to wonder maybe, don't you? There's a very fine line between building up a young fighter's confidence, which is what Customato and the camp are trying to do. There's a big difference between that and feeding him pushovers.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time of this bout, 37 seconds of the first round, and a winner by a knockout for his 10th straight win in his many pro bouts, Mike Tyson. Tyson, maestro, please.
Thank you very much. So, as the man said, 10 fights, 10 wins. They keep putting them in front of him. He keeps knocking them over. But as I say, 1 or 2 at ringside might start, if you look at the papers, they might start to question the caliber of the opponent that Tyson has been facing. Maybe someone a little bit more testing. number 11 for Mike Tyson, Sterling Benjamin. The opponent, Tyson, in the dark blue trunks with the white trim. Sterling Benjamin in the red. Last fight, Atlantic City. Bit of a come down now. We're in Latham, New York State. We're in round 1. Tyson's 11th fight. 10 wins, 7 inside round 1. Did I say 7? Make that 8, perhaps, in fight number 11. The count is 5. And Sterling Benjamin just beats the count. On they go. Is he going to make the bell? Somehow, you know, I just kind of doubt it. There's only so much punishment anybody can take. That is the limit of Sterling Benjamin's endurance. The referee was just about to step in anyway.
I was a little leery. I knew I was in there with a good fighter that went the distance with some good fighters, and I was planning on just putting the pressure on him from the beginning to the end. I planned on him coming out with a jab because I watched him in the DeWitt fight, and he was countering with the right hand good. And coming in the first round, I got grazed with a right hand, and from then on, I know to slip my head and just keep coming forward.
As for Benjamin, well, he was thoroughly impressed.
He have a sledgehammer, man. You know, when I go down there, I feel it. He really hit hard. It's the hardest I ever been hit.
It is the hardest here.
The hardest of my whole career, man.
They keep lining him up, and Kid Catskill keeps knocking him down, and there'll be no let-up for Mike Tyson either.
He goes to Houston on the 13th. He's going to fight some Texas champ that I think the guy's Richardson is his name. I don't know anything about him. They're supposed to have a film. But again, as long as Mike can hit them, if he hits them clean, they're going to go.
So Mike Tyson continues to be a very busy man, but it's getting harder and harder now to find anybody who wants anything to do with him. I mean, no fighter wants to get run over by a truck.
On November 4th, 1985, Mike lost his closest friend and mentor, Cus D'Amato. Co-managers Jimmy Jacobs and Bill Caton continued to encourage the Dynamite Kid. 9 days after the shock, Tyson went to Houston, Texas to face his 12th opponent, Eddie Richardson. This was Richardson's hometown, but Tyson was the fighter they all wanted to see.
Boxing fans, let's hide the children. We're moving into the heavyweight division. This bout scheduled for 8 rounds or less. Introducing first, to my left, in the blue corner. He weighed in this morning at 212 pounds. He has a professional record of 12 wins, 2 losses, 8 of those wins coming by knockout. He's from Fort Worth, Texas, and now making his home in Tyler, Texas. How about a round of applause for Fast Eddie Richardson? And his opponent to my right in the red corner weighed in this morning at 219 fit, fighting, and ready pounds. He's wearing the blue trunks with the red and white trim. He has a professional record of 10 straight unbeaten wins, and all of those 10 wins coming by knockout. He was handled by the late Cus D'Amato, and now with Jimmy Jacobs. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Big Apple of New York City, Mike Tyson. Your referee, Barry Yates.
Well, as we've told you, Tyson has had 10 fights, but very few of them go past the first round, Mickey Herskowitz.
Well, you're looking at a very interesting and complicated matchup. Eddie Richardson is 6'6" against Mike Tyson, who is described as 5'11", looks closer to 5'10" because of the squarishness of his build. Going to be a really fascinating contest to see how Richardson attempts to use that advantage in height and reach.
Cus D'Amato, of course, right hand by Tyson. Oh my! First punch he threw.
What took him so long?
Eddie Richardson, looking at the referee, is in much disbelief as we are.
Eddie Richardson said he was going to go after him and test him, and he may have made a very serious error in strategy right there.
Tyson is a little icebox rather than a refrigerator.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Well, he has a 19 3/4 inch neck, which is approximately the size of actress Shelley Duvall's waist.
And you certainly see the punching power in Tyson.
One of the real rising stars in the boxing galaxy today, Mike Tyson, a fellow for whom everybody predicts a great future. If they can find some fights, then...
That left hand almost drove Richardson right through the canvas.
He not only knocked him down, but he absolutely carried him through the air.
And it's over.
I see right now a major flaw and problem in Mike Tyson's career, and that's going to be to have a fight that lasts long enough to get some good footage on it.
I'm telling you what, it's hard to do. Mike Tyson, without a doubt, one of the bright stars in the heavyweight picture, now goes to 11-0 with 11 knockouts. And we're going to be talking to him in just a moment, so hold on.
I want a good, clean, hard fight. I want a good, clean, hard fight.
It's hard to imagine. Henry Tillman defeated Tyson twice in the amateur ranks.
And in the Olympic trials.
In the Olympic trials. And Tillman, I don't think he wants any part of Tyson anymore. Let's go up to ring announcer Gordon Wood for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Barry Yates counts out the Southern boxing champion Eddie Richardson in 1-1-7 of the first round. The winner, and now 12-0, not 11-0, 12-0, 12 straight knockouts, Mike Tyson.
Well, we're updating.
They're updating his record.
Yeah.
He maybe knocked someone out in the hallway
on the way
to the
in the ring. I probably haven't.
Well, you know, Tom Stevenson is a journeyman heavyweight who has fought with Cooney and Carl Williams in their training camps, and he was quoted as saying not too many weeks ago that no one can punch like Mike Tyson. Cooney can't, Carl Williams can't, no one can punch like Tyson, and I'm inclined to believe Stevenson. Mike Tyson, nice to have you in Houston, Texas. You made quite an impression.
Well, thank you very much. The town is beautiful itself, and I'm glad to be welcomed here.
Well, you lost a dear friend in Cus D'Amato not too long ago, and a lot of people thought you might not come down here and fight. You were quoted as saying Cus would have wanted it that way.
Well, most definitely. Even though he didn't, Cus D'Amato, being around him since the age of 13, I'm more like business orientated, and I know not to let anything get involved with business. You know, things happen. We all have disappointments, but we can't let these things stop our lives. We have to go on.
Nothing's going to stop your life, young man. Let's look at the two knockouts now.
Surely.
You caught Richardson early. The first punch you threw. Go ahead and describe it.
Well, as you can see, he was poking his jab out, and I was going low, throwing my jab to his body, keeping his mind preoccupied with my jab to his body, and then unpredictable, a right hand coming up top, and they caught him.
I said to Mickey Herskowitz that this knockout punch looked to me like a Joe Frazier left. What would you say to that?
Well, I wouldn't say that at all, because everything I threw, it was timed. I knew where it was going ahead of time. He was awkward. He was more on the defensive. That's how some of the punches were missing. But as you see right here, that one punch, I saw his hand come down, and I threw the punch as his hand was up there because I knew it was coming down. And then that's when the punch timely caught him on the chin, and he didn't know where he was at all. Hopefully, and I'm glad he's okay.
Okay, well, Mickey, you've got a question?
Mike, your fights have been so quick to this point. Seems hardly worth the trip down, but are you getting to a point where you need longer fights, where you need somebody to carry you, to extend you a bit?
Well, Mick, it's hard to explain this because I'm in the gym and I'm boxing 10 rounds all the time in the gym. And I'm boxing with good fighters, contenders. And if I could box with contenders and hold my own, I'm most definitely sure I could come in here and box 10 rounds with any man.
Sounds like you're getting your best work in the gym then.
Most likely, yes.
Who would you like to fight right now?
Anybody my manager signs the contract with. My manager says fight him, I'm in the ring with him.
And a final question about Cus D'Amato. We knew him. He was, of course, one of the great legendary figures of boxing, one of the colorful characters, and one of the great trainers of sport. What did he teach you, and what about what is it that you will miss the most that you learned from Cus D'Amato that you got from Cus?
Well, can I tell you, I miss Cus dearly. When Cus left, he had a great influence not only on me, but so many people in the boxing business, a great deal of people in the boxing business. And mostly, the great thing about Cus, every man must believe in himself. You must have the confidence, and you must, no matter what the situation is, you must face the problem. Don't care who it is. Eddie Richardson, world champion, 6'10", 6'12", 400 pounds, muscle bound. You face your problem because that's part of being a man and developing character.
Cus felt that boxing was to a certain extent entertainment, showbiz. You want to entertain the people, and Mike is a very, very entertaining a fighter. He's actually exhilarating to watch. People come to see him fight. In fact, during the early part of his career, the people up in Catskill in Albany would come to see him fight and would go through snowstorms and rainstorms to get to the places where the fights were taking, and they'd all hold cards. First round. They want him to win the first round, even though they had spent maybe 2 or 3 hours of the most tough travel to get to the arena. They wanted him to win fast. And that's his style, and he won most of his fights, as you know, in the first round.
Fight number 13 for Mike Tyson. We're back in Latham. It's the same Mike Tyson. It is not the same camp. This is his second fight since the tragic death of Cus D'Amato on the 4th of November. This is the 22nd. And we're against an opponent who just might be the one to test him. In all Tyson's early fights, well, in his latter fights anyway, I've said that we really need to see a better class of opponent. And I think we might have got that tonight in the shape of Conroy Nelson, who's been in with some good fighters. Conroy Nelson, Canadian, ranked number 2 in the Canadian heavyweight scene. As I said, he's been in with some good fighters. He's fought Razor Ruddock. He lost on a disqualification to Razor Ruddock. No, I lie. He went the distance with Razor Ruddock, 10 rounds. He lost his next fight in London. I should know that. I saw it. Disqualification against Noel Corliss, the Liverpool boy, in 7 rounds in Bloomsbury. But he's been in, as I say, with some decent opposition. He's fought for the Canadian title against Trevor Berbick. Berbick stiffed him in 2. Berbick is a world-class fighter. So if anybody is going to test Mike Tyson, Conroy Nelson is just the right sort of opponent at this stage of his career. The cornerman you might have seen wearing the ring jacket of former world light heavyweight champion Matthew Saad Muhammad from a few years back. Tyson just looks awesome, doesn't he? This is, as I say, fight number 13 of the previous 12. 9 have been won inside a round. In fact, I was there when he was stretched by Don Halpin, 4 rounds in his 3rd fight. So here we go then, round 1. Both boys in white. Tyson with the red trim, and Nelson with the black. Nelson, as I say, has to use his height and reach to just keep Tyson at bay. Try and draw the sting for the first 2 or 3 rounds, because we know how dangerous Tyson can be early on. And Nelson on his bike early, guard held high, peekaboo style. Don't want to let it drop. And Nelson can hit. Tyson needs to be a little bit careful this fight. He's been able to get away with liberties in 1 or 2 of his early fights because he has known his opponents cannot hurt him. This is not the case in this fight. If Nelson gets an opening, Nelson can bing one in. Touchdown briefly there, thanks to body shots. The right knee just clipped the canvas. Oh, he's shaky. He's so shaky, and we're only in round 1. And this is a good fighter. I can hardly believe what I'm seeing. Sit down, please, sir. Thank you. This is the trouble when we're crammed in alongside spectators at ringside. Somebody gets excited and stands up in front of the camera. We can't see. More importantly, you can't see. Tyson can see. Tyson likes what he's seeing. Well, while our vision was momentarily obscured. Nelson seems to have recovered a little bit of equilibrium. In fact, he comes back with a short chopping ride of his own there, gets through, but he's covering up very, very tightly now. If he was under any illusions just how good a puncher Mike Tyson was, those illusions will have been sorely shattered. Tyson just falling centimetres short with that big arcing right. Referee just letting him get on with it. Just a little word. Don't keep it too close, boys. Well, Nelson, after a real alarming wobble midway through, he might be getting through this first round, but he doesn't look convincing, has he? Tries to come back with a spearing lift of his own, but Tyson left uppercut gets through, and once again Nelson looks a little bit confused, dazed and confused. That term might have been coined for Conroy Nelson tonight. In Latham, hard to think that Tyson, I watched his pro debut, it's 6th of March, it's what, 22nd of November now. Boy, is he coming on, and boy, is he making an impact in the heavyweight division. Nelson hurt, needs a breather. I think that punch might have been a little bit low. The referee allowing Nelson just a moment or two to recover himself. Gets clipped with a left on the belt. And somehow, well, the ref comes over, says, just keep your punches up. Kevin Rooney tries to wave him off. The referee says, I'm in charge here. Okay, we're in the second. And once again, it's all Tyson. And Nelson, who was in deep trouble, is in deeper trouble as the left hook, which is fast becoming a Tyson trademark, sends him down. The gum shield has been spat out. Nelson says, that's it, thank you very much. I think discretion, the better part of valor there. Conroy Nelson spat the gum shield out, walked back to his corner. Well, fight number 13, unlucky 13, I don't think so. 13 fights, 13 wins. At least Nelson got him into the second round. Tyson now observing the post-fight niceties. I thought Conroy Nelson, well, in fact, I wasn't the only one who thought Conroy Nelson would stretch him, and he did, into round 2.
Took Tyson all of 3 minutes and 30 seconds to dispose of the second-ranked Canadian heavyweight, Conroy Nelson. Now, the only reason Conroy didn't get himself a one-way ticket to Palookasville in the first round is that he spent most of his time covering up, while Tyson delivered one wicked body shot after another. I mean, you could hear those punches clear out to the parking lot. I couldn't figure out whether Nelson was there to fight or to give a lesson in survival tactics. Anyway, Tyson finally got to him in the second, setting him up with a sweet overhand right, then taking him out with a vicious left hand. Referee counted him out at 30 seconds of the round.
Very good fighter, experienced fighter, within good fighters. But a friend of mine from Canada called Davey Hilton was telling me about him and about the clutch he tried the whole time. But he surprised me because he wasn't trying to hold, he was fighting.
I'm going to tell you something. I think he was here to pick up a paycheck. The first round, all he did was cover up.
Well, maybe he was a little leery about the puncher power. But again, that's you saying it because you're not fighting. He took some good shots, but anybody else, they would have quit.
Yeah, that right left was devastating.
Thank you very much, sir.
So now Mike Tyson is 13-0, all of his victories coming by knockout, and no bout has gone past the 4th round. So you got to wonder, when's the KO kid gonna move up in class?
If everything goes the way it's been going, I'd put Mike in the ring in about June or July against somebody in the top 10. But you must remember, once you break into the top 10, you can't go backwards. You can't beat somebody in the top 10 and go back and fight, 8-round fights.
Jim, nobody's looking for Mike to go backwards. No, the sooner he moves against some real class, the better. I mean, this kid doesn't come to box, he comes to terminate.
Tyson's rare talent had grabbed the attention of the boxing world and was drawing in the crowds. Yet at this stage, not one of his fights had been televised nationally across the U.S. More of Mike's early fights coming up in the next Tyson, Raw and Uncut.
Mike Tyson! I believe he will be the youngest heavyweight champion of all time.